Hey there. So I am going to demonstrate today a figure 4 trap for a deadfall trap. And because it's wintertime in Alaska, it's about 3 degrees outside right now, and there's like a ton of snow, so it's pretty tricky to do this outside right now. I'm going to do this inside in the house, and so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to simulate my deadfall here with my handy dandy cutting board. And I've gone ahead and whittled up my figure 4 trap right here, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to set this up. So the first thing I have here is my prop stick. So this is going to be this main support, and then this is my lever stick right here that's going to hold the deadfall up. Okay, so what I've done is I've carved a 7 notch in there, and then there's a nice matching lock-in point right here to my main support stick. So I'm going to prop this up right here, and so this is the main support. This is kind of holding up that deadfall right there. And so what now I need to do is put the bait stick on. So I've got a bait stick here, and I've carved a really fine point on the end of this so that I can fit a blueberry. So got a nice little wild blueberry on there. And in the back, I've got a 7 notch again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this perfectly balanced. And you're going to have the bait stick is going to be the trickiest part right here. Is you got to have it on a very hair trigger, so that when a small rodent or bird comes underneath here and grabs that bait off the bait stick, that it's just barely, it's barely on there. Because if it's too secure and locked in, then when they go to try to get your bait, it's not gonna go off. So you've got to get that perfect balancing act down to where it's just barely hanging on. Super sensitive, and you want to make sure that the bait stick is far enough underneath your deadfall that you're going to have good killing power when this guy goes down. Come on, baby. Of course, I did this before I videoed and it worked great, so it's got to give me troubles. Hang on there. Nope. Being tricky. You gotta be patient. Find that perfect spot. Okay, perfect. That's where I want it. I want it barely hanging on there. Because again, when you have a small animal come through here to mess with this bait, if it's securely locked in, they'll just grab your bait and run. And so we definitely want to have it nice and loose. So what I'll go ahead and do now is demonstrate how this should deploy. So my knife right here, I'm just going to pretend is a little animal is coming along, and he's going to start nibbling at that bait, and then it fell down really nice and easy. That's exactly what you want. You want him just to, at the very lightest touch, grab that berry and then have that come down. And you want to make sure that your sticks, so you can see how this fell, that your sticks aren't holding up the deadfall too high. Because if your sticks are too thick and this thing comes down, you can actually leave like a little passageway for if they could get out of there. They could crawl out of there really easy. So you want to make sure that your sticks are thin enough that when that deadfall comes down, there's no way that animals wouldn't be able to sneak out of there once they've gotten down. And the other thing is you want to make sure that you have a big enough deadfall on top that when it comes down, it's not just a slap and then they can survive that. You want to make sure it's a crushing action. Like when you pull that thing up, you should have a fairly flattened critter underneath there. So that's the figure 4. Very simple. All you need is a knife to do this, and you can set multiple ones out there. You can see, just for now that the berry is gone, you can see that edge right there, how a needle fine point I have that on there, so that that is really touchy, and that when the animal comes to take that berry off or that bait piece meat, whatever you got on there, that it's really well impaled on there. It's not just going to fall off, you know, because it was too thick of a end piece. So yeah, figure 4. There you go.